Time to play the game. Or if you know him as Terrorizing or Jean-Paul Levesque. But we know him as Triple H, Hunter Hearst Elmsley, and now the COO of WWE, Paul Levesque. Paul Michael Levesque, born July 27th, 1969 in Nashua, New Hampshire. Fell in love with wrestling as a kid. He talks about Chief Jay Strongbow being one of his early favorites. So, gotta love that.
Dude, I haven't heard that name in a minute.
Right.
Classic.
Fell in love with wrestling. Loved the physiques, you know. Little Vince McMahon in the making here. Took up bodybuilding at age 14. At 14, he's like, I got to get in the gym, bro. Played baseball and basketball in high school, but really just took to bodybuilding. At age 19, won the 1988 Mr. Teenage New Hampshire bodybuilding competition. He was a manager at the local gym. Met Ted Arcidi, who happened to work for WWE at the time. He is the first person billed as the world's strongest man. WWE loves that. Loves getting a strong man in there and just pushing him to the moon and back.
Yeah, it's a favorite.
Ted Arcidi introduced Triple H to Killer Kowalski, who was looking for new students for his wrestling school. So in 1990, Paul Levesque moved to Malden, Massachusetts to enroll in Killer Kowalski's wrestling school that had the International Wrestling Federation attached to it. So trained there for 2 years. Fun fact, Chyna and Perry Saturn were also classmates in the Killer Kowalski wrestling
so that's
school.
where the Triple H Chyna connection begins.
It started early. Trained, wrestled, learned the craft, debuted March 24th, 1992. That's insane to think the longevity of a career that guy had.
Yeah, because Triple H's final match was in, 2019 at WrestleMania against Batista?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That is insane, dude.
28-year career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just getting beat up every day. I remember watching an old school True Life. You remember when MTV did those? And it's I'm a Wrestler, and they had a very upstart indie wrestler not making any money, like a middle of the road wrestler, and then a pro wrestler, and the pro wrestler was Triple H.
Oh, I love that.
He was getting like chiropractic treatments after every match. It's insane. And that was back then. That was like 2001, 2002. He debuted in March of 92. By July of 92, he beat Mad Dog Richard for the IWF Heavyweight Championship.
Oh, Mad Dog Richard taking the L.
Taking the L. I love 90s wrestling names. Yeah. Mad Dog Richard. Losing to Terrorizing.
Gotta lose somebody.
Yeah, man.
Lose to the terror that's rising.
Terrorizing started touring the East Coast Indies with a gentleman by the name of John Rodeo as his manager. Old Johnny Boy is a stand-up comedian now. John Rodeo transitioned from early 90s wrestling manager to stand-up comedian.
John Rodeo, if you need some openers, we got a couple of Spandex StandUps over here.
Look at us. Did that for a while. Early 94 now. He signs a 1-year contract with WCW. WCW. He's a villain, and they just keep terrorizing, but change the name a little bit. Like on the Indies, he was terrorizing. In WCW, he was terrorizing. But they didn't like that. He didn't keep that for too long. By mid-94, they had changed him, play off of his real name. They turned him into French aristocrat Jean-Paul Levesque.
Yeah, I like that better than terrorizing.
Problem is, they wanted him to speak French. He didn't speak French. So please go back. Please do yourself a favor after you listen to this phenomenal episode of Spandex StandUps. Go check out on the YouTubes Triple H's terrible French accent attempt on WCW. It is comically bad.
I bet. I mean,
this is you don't know. I come to WCW.
They just can't let people be themselves, huh? Not then.
This is 90s wrestling, bro. You can be anybody but yourself.
Not then, yeah.
Had a little feud with Alex. They really leaned into the European side of this. Had a feud with Alex Wright, and had a tag team with Lord Steven Regal, who he saw as the British version of himself. So that's where his bond with Steven Regal took off. That's why he's one of the first guys he called when he took over NXT. Is I need Regal in my corner. In '95, he left for WWF. Never looked back. They loved the John Paul Levesque character, but of course they can't own your real name. So they threw some different names around, and they changed him from a French aristocrat to a Connecticut Blueblood.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
At first, he was Reginald DuPont Helmsley.
Jeez. Reginald DuPont?
Yes, Helmsley. Reginald DuPont Helmsley.
My goodness.
And Triple H was like, that doesn't roll off the tongue. I can't sell that. So he lobbied and ended up going back and forth with Bruce Pritchard a little bit and ended up with Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
There we go.
Way better. Reginald DuPont Helmsley the third.
Don't work for me.
They started releasing proper etiquette vignettes for him. He debuted April 30th, 1995. SummerSlam 95 was his first pay-per-view. Defeated Bobby Holly.
Ooh, Bob Holly.
Bob Holly, his first SummerSlam opponent, 95. Took the L for old Triple H. Loved him. They gave him a run there on some wins. Had different ladies escorting him to the ring. Different Playboy models. You know, he really living the life up there. And then the curtain call happened. If you're unfamiliar with the curtain call, it was all of the members of the Clique, Shawn Michaels, Diesel, Razor Ramon, and Triple H. Razor Ramon and Diesel were going to go be the outsiders in WCW, so they had one final match. Triple H and Shawn and Razor and Diesel all hugged in the middle of the ring at Madison Square Garden. That was a big no-no because two of them were faces, two of them were heels. They broke kayfabe to say goodbye to their friends. And, you know, Kevin and Scott are gone. Shawn's the world heavyweight champion. So Triple H took the L on that one. He got punished. He was supposed to win the 1996 King of the Ring, and he did not. But, I mean...
Who ultimately became the
did
king
that
of
not
the ring?
work out for him?
Yeah, he is now
If
literally...
without 1996, we don't get Austin 316. So this worked out.
I mean, you know...
For professional wrestling. Might not have worked out for Triple H, but it worked out for professional
it
wrestling.
worked out for Triple H. Triple H got his, let's be real.
Right. He did. They said the heat on him wasn't completely off of the curtain call. He did have an instance with Marty Gardner where a pedigree went wrong. Marty tucked his chin and broke his neck.
Jeez.
Or he had neck damage.
Dang.
A lawsuit ensued, so WWE was not happy about that. And of course, it wasn't Triple H's fault, but he got blamed for it.
Yeah.
So 96 was definitely a year to forget for Triple H.
Yep.
But 97, man, turned it around. Well, started late 96. They gave him Mr. Perfect as his manager. That's dope.
That was good.
Defeated Mark Mario for the IC title, had a little run with that. I just watched the 96 Royal Rumble, and he defended it against Gold Dust. It was great. Great match. Won the 1997 King of the Ring. They're like, all right, you got it now. You can win. Defeated Mankind in the finals. This is when we start seeing him, Shawn Michaels, Rick Rude, Chyna kind of come organically together. They were a group without a name. Bret Hart called them a bunch of degenerates, and that we were the Generation X back then. So Degeneration X was born. Officially dropped the Blue Blood gimmick. You know, now it's Triple H. They had a great scenario where Shawn Michaels was the heavyweight champion and the European champion, and he let Triple H pin him for the European champion. So they both were champions. They had Chyna as their muscle. Rick Rude didn't last that long. He went over to the NWO. It was great, man. I enjoyed the short-lived run of DX, the original DX. Yeah. But it's 1998 now. Shawn Michaels got a messed up back and a crazy pill addiction that we all know about now. Stone Cold's the new champ. Shawn passes the torch, and he rides off into the sunset thinking he is done wrestling. We also think Degeneration X is done. You know, half of it's gone. What are we doing here? Instead, they give Triple H the reins, and he puts out his new iteration of DX. He gets his buddy X-Pac to come over from the NWO. Well, he got himself fired from WCW, so that just worked out. And then the New Age Outlaws were the new upstart tag team. They fit in perfectly. That foursome was awesome. Well, with China too. Those 5 were hilarious as D-Generation X. I love, I'm a Shawn Michaels guy through and through, but I thoroughly enjoyed this D-Generation X. Feuded with Nation of Domination. This is our first, glimpse at Rock Triple H rivalry that we're going to see forever. Feuding over the IC title. They trade it back a little bit, back and forth. And then you kind of see Rock take that next step. He won the WWF Championship. He joins the corporation. They're really backing Rock. China jumped ship too. Early 1999, she jumped ship to the corporation. So now Triple H is kind of falling apart. DX is falling apart. Everyone's kind of bowing down to McMahon. You're like, what are we doing here? China helps him turn on DX that year at WrestleMania. So now he's full on in the corporation. The Raw after SummerSlam of that year, he won his first WWF title, defeating Mankind. So now he's got everything,
Triple H's matches versus Mankind were awesome.
Man, they really went at each other.
That Hell in a Cell versus Triple H was gnarly.
Feuding with McMahon now, like it kind of twists to where he's the champion, but he's feuding with McMahon, but he's the heel. This is when they're trying to give us a different McMahon, and they tried to make us feel bad for Vince and Shane because they constantly kept getting beat up by Triple H. He eventually joins back up with DX, and now they're the bad guys. It's super weird time. He ends up, married Stephanie at Armageddon, December 1999. Going back now, and I was definitely a fan. But also, we were getting ready for like Y2K and like the uncertainty of that and stuff, and they're giving us like the dude drugged the boss's daughter and married her in Vegas. That's what they're giving us as a storyline to end 1999.
American Pie.
January 2000 hits. The world is still here. We're happy. This is when he starts calling himself The Game.
It was a great interview when he called himself The Game.
I am the Game. Jim Ross adds Cerebral Assassin in there. So this is when he starts collecting nicknames. He wins his 3rd WWF Championship. January 3rd, 2000. Starts an epic feud with Mick Foley. Traded it with The Rock back and forth the spring and summer of 2000. Then he's got a masterful feud with Chris Jericho. Then they got that weird love triangle with Angle and Stephanie. That was just awkwardness. But we still got some bangers of some matches between Triple H and Kurt Angle. Then the terrible he paid Rikishi to run over Stone Cold storyline. That leads to the 3 Stages of Hell match. February of 2001. The only good thing that came out of that is we get the 2-man power trip with him and Stone Cold, where they're the tag champs, and then he's the IC. This is his 3rd IC championship, and Stone Cold's the heavyweight champion. They're rolling. The 2-man power trip is rolling, and then Triple H suffers a quad injury. He's out 9 months. Ended 2-man power trip. Ended the McMahon Helmsley storyline. All that stuff. Like, they kind of stopped talking about him and Stephanie after this. Like, they're like, yeah, don't talk about that. Big return, Madison Square Garden, January 7th, 2002. He won the 2002 Royal Rumble, really trucking again. Defeated Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 18. Lost it to Hogan, but continued the feud with Jericho. There's like a fake pregnancy storyline in there. It's just early 2000s WWF.
Love it.
Then we get probably one of your favorite storylines of all time, the Shawn Michaels return, where they're friendly at first. Triple H turned on him. I'm going to let you talk about that because you know way more about that stuff than I do.
Yeah, I mean, it was just so great. Triple H was really on top of the world. Shawn Michaels comes back. They have this pretty epic world heavyweight title match where Shawn Michaels wins. It's such a great kind of feel-good moment. And then this is really when you just start to see Triple H become this guy who's super insecure, really has to start surrounding himself with people to do his bidding. This is where Evolution comes in.
Because he had it all. 2-man power trip, and then it got taken away from him. So that's a nice storyline to play up to, that he's scared of losing it again.
Yeah, so then he, this is where I really got into wrestling, was when, Shawn Michaels and Triple H were really feuding in a way where you believed that it was a real hatred that they had.
Right.
Triple H was just such a easily believable champion, because he was so
scary,
and he just surrounded himself with these goons,
Yeah.
So that was really great when they did their match at the Royal Rumble. Then they had the triple threat at WrestleMania 20. They had the another triple threat at Backlash. Then it went to Bad Blood, 2004, where they kind of had the finale of that feud. And
that's crazy. They they managed to keep a feud interesting for 2 years.
Yeah,
because Bischoff split the belts in 2002, awarded Triple H Big Goldie. So Triple H is the first official world heavyweight champion in WWE. So that's pretty cool. I didn't know that until I did this whole research. Yeah, the Shawn Michaels thing was fantastic. That terrible Katie Vick storyline with Kane, though, the necrophilia and the enemas, and
so weird.
It was not liked by fans, at least. So then February 2003, you alluded to it, we get Evolution. Ric Flair, Triple H, Batista, and Orton. Armageddon 2003, every person in that faction left with the title. That's pretty cool. I like that. Had great feuds with Booker T, Shawn Michaels, Benoit, Goldberg, Eddie Guerrero. Eventually Batista and Orton, when they trickled off from Evolution. The Raw after SummerSlam 04 for Orton. WrestleMania 21 for Batista. I wasn't a fan then, but I remember tuning in for some reason and getting the thumbs up.
Down.
Yeah, the thumbs up. It was great. He took a few months off, returned in October 05, turned on Flair. Effectively ending Evolution. Feuded with the McMahons in early 2000s. When all else fails, feud with the McMahons. This is when we get the cheesy DX Spirit Squad poop on the stage. All kind, it was more of a prank war than a wrestling feud. Did get some cool matches with Rated RKO out of that, though, and DX, Another quad injury, January 7th, 2007. Puts him on the shelf again. Returned to SummerSlam that year, though. Screw it. 8 months. What? Get out of here. Beat Booker T at SummerSlam. Won his 11th World Championship from Randy Orton at No Mercy that year in October.
Yeah, so the one Randy Orton got, I think, injured in that match.
Okay. They really let him have a run with this. He defeated Umaga, lost it back to Orton, took the title to SmackDown with him in the 08 WWE draft. Would defeat John Cena, Edge, Great Khali, Jeff Hardy. He had a 210-day run this time around.
Nice.
Eventually losing it to Edge. That's when, that was the good years of SmackDown.
Yeah.
I think. I personally feel. Won the title back at Elimination Chamber in 2009. That's when they got the super, super personal family feud with Orton.
Yeah, that was good. Really good.
That's when he finally acknowledged his ties to the McMahons again in real life. So really brought that out. But that's not McMahon, that's my father-in-law. So that was another layer that they had, like I said, had not really talked about since 99, 2000.
Yeah.
Feuded with Orton in Legacy, pulled Shawn back into the feud, had a Hell in a Cell match that DX won in 09 of that year. Even had a little DX tag title run, defeated Jericho at TLC 09.
Jericho.
Feuded with Sheamus leading into WrestleMania 26 in 2010. Took some time off again for that, and then that's when we were like, all right, he's slowing down. This Triple H isn't the everyday kind of guy that we're used to seeing anymore, which is fine. That comes a time in every wrestler's life. Like we said, momentum been going strong since '92. Returned, started a program with The Undertaker, Raw, February 21st, 2011. We all know he lost to Undertaker at Mania 27. Then we started seeing some of the corporate stuff. You know, he came back July 18th, 2011 to relieve Vince of his duties. He officially announced he was the COO of WWE, which was his official title by then. So that was a nice little layer where they started blending his real life, like acknowledging he is a suit outside of WWE, outside of the ring. That was also the year that Punk had left with the title, you know? So Triple H brought CM Punk back into the fold, and that was like his, see, I'm a corporate guy. I brought the champ back, guys. Only for Nash to attack him. Del Rio, one that walked out with the belt. That whole thing. People picked apart that Kevin Nash storyline to death. And rightfully so. My man was well past his prime.
Totally.
2011 Kevin Nash, for real, for real. Fought Punk for the COO title. Got a no vote of confidence from his peers. Vince relieved him of his duties October 10th, 2011. So a little run there. Feuded with Nash. There was a kayfabe injury in there. You know, then they had a TLC sledgehammer match. Triple H versus Kevin Nash in 2011. No one wanted to see that. Returned January 30th, 2012 to evaluate John Laurinaitis' performance. Undertaker had other plans, said they had unfinished business. That led to WrestleMania 28, Hell in a Cell. Lost again to Taker. The end of an era match. You know, Shawn was the guest referee.
Good.
One of my favorite matches of all time.
So good. One of my, same. Those two matches they had were just amazing.
Yeah. And then you put Michaels in there for that last one. It just added that whole other layer to it.
Yeah, it was a trilogy.
Yeah. He came back to deny Brock Lesnar's demands when Brock was going all Devo and everybody. Surprise, surprise, Brock attacked him. That led to a little program with Lesnar, SummerSlam 2012. He lost that match and disappeared. You know, Triple H wasn't on our screens anymore. Came back February of 2013 when Lesnar attacked Vince McMahon to pull Triple H back in. A rematch with Triple H, WrestleMania 29. He defeated Lesnar in a no-holds-barred match. WrestleMania 29. But lost the rematch at Extreme Rules in a steel cage.
Ooh. I got to go back and watch those matches.
Right? This is 2013 Triple H doing this to himself, man. SummerSlam 2013, he's a special guest referee against one John Cena versus Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan catching some momentum here. Bryan won. Triple H raising his arm up like, hey, look at our new champ. This is what you wanted, right? He attacks him. Orton cashes in the briefcase. This effectively turns Triple H heel for the first time since 2006. This is when we get the Authority, Stephanie, Kane, Orton. The Shield is the Enforcers. I forgot the Shield was a Team Authority early on. WrestleMania 30, he lost to Daniel Bryan, so Daniel Bryan got added to the triple threat. Daniel Bryan walked out as champion there.
So good.
He had to reform Evolution because the Shield turned on the Authority after that. They had some great matches. This led to Seth Rollins turning on the Shield and joining the Authority. I thought wrestling was back, man. I was high. I was invested. Raw was a must watch every week again. It was great. Thoroughly enjoyed it. They blended the old and the new. It was amazing. The Authority's plans got a little thwarted because Sting debuted to fight off the Authority. That cost him the power. He held that Survivor Series match where they're fighting for power. Sting's debut cost them that match. But the Authority held Edge hostage till John Cena gave them their power back. So they did the real evil thing, got their power back. So Authority is back in control. Defeated Sting at WrestleMania 31 in 2015, which a lot of people consider a terrible, terrible match. DX got involved. They touted Scott Hall out there when they should not have touted Scott Hall out there for the NWO, and it was just, if we could have that match 10 years prior, we all would have been better for it. 20 years prior.
Yeah.
That was the same WrestleMania that he got dressed up in a suit and had to do the Ronda and Rock thing. You know, they beat him up. He got to beat Sting, but then got beat up. This led to, the authorities sticking around. Then they turned their attention to Roman Reigns. Because the Royal Rumble 2016, he was the 30th entrance. The title was on the line. Roman had already been tossed over. He eliminated Dean Ambrose for his second Royal Rumble win and his 14th and final world title reign. Defended him against Dolph and Dean, eventually losing to Roman at WrestleMania 32. Now the authorities officially disbanded. He competed in the live tour. Made a couple of appearances, but now Triple H is pretty much like, all right, I need to wind down. He returned August 29th by interfering in the main event. He attacked Roman Reigns, hit him with a pedigree, allowing Seth Rollins to win, or Seth Rollins to eliminate him. But then he turned on Seth Rollins and gave Kevin Owens the title. I need to go back and watch that because that was real time one of my favorite moments with Triple H and Kevin Owens. Then Triple H began a program with Rollins. He lost a non-sanctioned match, WrestleMania 33, to Seth Rollins. Well, he did Survivor Series where he was part of Kurt Angle's team, but he turned on Angle. Mm-hmm. And he ultimately got credit for winning the match because he pinned Shane for Team SmackDown. And then that's when we get Angle and Rousey against Triple H and Stephanie in a mixed tag match at WrestleMania 34. Mm-hmm. All right.
And this is when he really starts to take more of a corporate role.
Yeah.
Because then the WrestleMania after that, Batista, I believe.
Well, after that, Triple H turned face again for the first time. And he had the greatest Royal Rumble match where John Cena beat him.
Yeah, that was a good match. That was in Australia or something, or Saudi. Yeah, that was a decent match when they did that. That was at the greatest Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the Undertaker at the Super Showdown.
Terrible.
And then we get him and DX against the Brothers of Destruction.
Wait, did Triple H and Undertaker did a match?
Jewel. Yeah, at Super Showdown.
Who won that?
He beat the Undertaker. Jeez. Yeah. And then we get, Brothers of Destruction, Shawn Michaels, Crown Jewel.
Those matches
that was
were
terrible.
Not good.
WrestleMania 35, he defeated Batista with assistance from Ric Flair, which was Batista's retirement match.
That was a great match.
Yeah.
And I think it ended up being Triple H's last match.
Yeah. He did a final match on pay-per-view, Randy Orton at Super Showdown, June 7th.
Did he really?
Yeah.
How do I not remember these?
And then he lost him and Shinsuke beat Robbie Roode and Samoa Joe in a house show in June 29th.
Wow.
I didn't know about this either. We're learning this in real time together.
I mean, I guess I do remember when they were doing like the Triple H versus Randy Orton. I mean, they were just doing all of these marquee matches to satisfy Saudi Arabia and their international crowd.
He did fight Orton in that unsanctioned match on Raw in 2021. But then, later that year, he suffered heart failure. He had to get a pacemaker installed, thus ending his in-ring career. And now we get corporate Triple H. So now he's killing it, man.
He's killing it as the chief content officer at WWE, calling all the shots. He's really, when we really think about it, Triple H is responsible for this new era that we're in where kayfabe is dead.
Well,
Triple H killed...
I know you're saying it as a positive thing. It's just the way it came out. You're like, oh.
Triple H killed kayfabe.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's the best thing to ever happen to pro wrestling.
It had to go to survive.
It has freed the business from its own limitations.
Yeah.
And now there's a show behind the show.
Yeah.
Now there's even more content to be produced now that we want to see.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do, right? Chief content officer, right?
So, Triple H is, it's hard to, and I think the history books will look at Triple H as probably the most, one of the most impactful figures in the business, given not only what he's done in WWE, but how what he's done in WWE has trickled outward. He's spearheaded the the crossovers with other promotions and spearheading as much work-life balance as that can exist in the industry. So, shout out to Triple
He's
H.
giving
man.
them the most time off they've ever had.
One of the most underrated performers. I don't think he's really on anyone's Mount Rushmore. But in terms
He needs to be in the conversation.
But in terms of important figures in the history of pro wrestling, undoubtedly he has to be on that Mount Rushmore.
But still, I think you even have to look at his career. And I'm not saying he makes it even on my Mount Rushmore, but I'm just saying he has to be in the conversation.
100%.
His durability, his longevity. I mean, the man won 14 world championships. That's amazing. Not many people have the double digits.
And when you take into account the full career, when you take into account what he's done for the business after, I almost have to put him on the Mount Rushmore, where it's like, he saved, in a lot of ways, he saved wrestling.
And he was the leader of two of the most influential factions of all time. If you wear a suit around other guys, you are compared to Evolution.
Yeah.
If you do the amount of, Joel Embiid just got fined last week in 2025 for doing the DX crotch chop. The influence is there, the legacy is there. I will forever love Triple H because, like you said, my man brought WWE back from life support.
Yep.
It's not all the way back. We still got things we need to talk about, Mr. Levesque, but you're doing a great job. Can't complain too much. Favorite, outside of the Shawn Michaels street fights, favorite Triple H match?
Ooh, Mick Foley.
Yeah, the Hell in a Cell. Yeah.
Because, there's a moment in that match where I think Triple H's calf got cut open.
Yeah.
And you can just see that he can't walk. His boot is filling up with blood. And they just put on the sickest match.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me, I could go back and watch that all the time.
This dude let Chris Jericho put him in the walls of Jericho with a torn quad.
That was also a really great match. That Hell in a Cell, Triple H Jericho, where I think they're on the top of the cage. Incredible.
He let him put him in a painful...
We don't give Triple H enough credit for truly having that same effect in the ring that The Undertaker had, where it's this is a bad mother effer. This is a bad mother effer. And there's no... when Triple H said, all these other guys are playing the game, I am the game. Yeah, there's a few guys in this world that are the game. And that was what I was talking about the last week with Brock, the difference between Brock Lesnar versus Braun Breaker. Brock Lesnar is the game. Braun Breaker is still playing it, So Triple H is one of those guys
learned how to play the game.
Who is the game.
Yeah.
AJ Styles is the game, right? And everyone else is just trying to play it.
They're born with the cheat codes.
Yeah. And just this natural aura that says where you can blend your, your gimmick with who you really are, and it becomes who you are.
Well, that's what I was going to say, man. I don't think anyone changed their gimmick up more to survive and change because you think of Undertaker, he changed his gimmick 3 times. Mm-hmm. Triple H, it seemed like every single WrestleMania season we got a different version of Triple H.
But it was always just a more heightened version of the last, it felt like.
But it was great. It was a different... Yeah, he leveled up. We saw Triple H level up in real time.
Yeah.
He went from Connecticut Blueblood to Sean's right-hand man to leading DX to being the game to being Evolution to being the Authority. He just kept leveling up, man. Mm-hmm. And now he's running the whole damn show. What was it? RVD said, I'm the whole damn show. Triple H is kind of the whole damn show.
Yes, he is.
You see NXT's thriving because of him. Mm-hmm. All his NXT guys up on the roster thriving. So I'm excited. I just think Triple H is going to call it quits before we're ready to let him go. My man is full on been look, I'm going to enjoy my life. I'm going to enjoy my family. I already got a ticker, artificial ticker in there. So I'm just, the only thing that's going to break my heart is when Triple H walks away.
Yeah.
Hope you got a couple more years in you, buddy.
I think he's got a little bit more than that.
I know. He says he wants to retire, but he ain't never going to retire. He might take a step back, but he ain't never going to retire. Well, that was the life and times of one Triple H, Paul Levesque. Paul, we love you. We appreciate everything you're doing with the current product. Keep being you, buddy. Hit that subscribe button. Can't wait to give you more from the Spandex StandUps.